Hey folks, welcome back to Game Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the game news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're talking about the Xbox Showcase. And I am kind of surprised by some things, and I don't like everything either, but you might be surprised at what I don't like. So we got to see E-Day, which we saw was right away. Asha Sharma came out right after they showed us some gameplay and stuff, which it does look definitely like a Gears of War game. Looks like the same mechanics, a lot of the same weapons we're probably going to recognize. And I think it's going to be a pretty fun story. We're probably going to have some multiplayer with the game too. So we'll have to see what that's like. But yeah, the story does seem pretty good. Um, Something we would kind of expect for those that have played Gears of War. We're probably most of us excited for it. The thing that I was surprised about is that it was a console exclusive. We have heard for quite a while that this was a planned PlayStation 5 game. And yeah, this is just going to be Xbox. Also, did not see anything too related to, like Switch 2, for example. We get to see that some of the games are actually going to be Switch 2, but yeah, not this one. So Xbox is going back to, in some cases, to I think complete exclusivity. I don't think this game or the other one I'll talk about in a little bit are ever going to get to PlayStation. And the issue that I have with that is that the game, it doesn't guarantee better quality, doesn't guarantee more content, doesn't guarantee more for the IP, does not guarantee that the revenue will be there for the studio. So, like, I don't want layoffs because of this type of exclusivity. Like, there's really no benefit to the player for an exclusive. It's just for the company to use it as a way to get more people to buy into the ecosystem and platform, whichever one it is, which is frustrating because I think games should really be for everybody. I don't think any of them should be hid behind. Uh, and I think the game should be for everybody, and I think the focus should be that the consoles and the hardware and services should each sell themselves individually. And then when you look at it as an entire package, well, that's why actually a lot of people go to Steam and go to PC because the whole package is so much better than what console offers. So I think going back to exclusivity is a mistake, but the revenue will speak for itself. And I think too that if the revenue isn't there, I think that they'll go back. Xbox and PlayStation. We'll still have to see if PlayStation actually does do the single player PC ports off of Steam and what that exactly looks like. But again, if there's just not enough money in it, then they'll have to go because the whole point of going away from exclusives was to make more money, was to ensure that the studios stayed alive. And that's why Xbox made changes in the 2010s and it continued through the 2020s. And that's also why PlayStation put games on PC, starting with God of War in 2020 and continued on. So to revert back to that, I'm not really sure if that's a good idea, but time will tell. The other thing we got to see is that State of Decay 3 actually exists, which is surprising. Some of us thought that it was canceled or that there was going to be some layoffs there, but we'll see how the game does. Also got to see Sea of Thieves, basically kind of like a mini game creator update, and various kind of mini games there. But I kind of wonder how broad the tools are going to be able to create stuff. But we're on like 20 seasons now, or maybe a little more than that. It's kind of surprising how long the game has been going. Surprise for me was Wo Long 2. I thought it was Onimusha Way of the Sword, but no, it was Wo Long 2. Was not expecting that. And it is going to be on Game Pass, and it's also going to be for the Switch 2. So it just shows how powerful the Switch 2 can be with their upscaler. Also, we got to see Hellblade 3. Did not expect that either. It's just called Senua, her name. But I'm hoping that the combat is better. Playing Hellblade 2, very cinematic, kind of felt more like a demo almost to showcase the graphics. And so I hope the game actually feels more of a game this time. We also got to see, too, that the 25-year anniversary green Xbox from the original Xbox green colors. We've heard that this is a 1 terabyte storage. We don't have a price, but the estimate is $750. I think it's actually going to be more than that, and that the controller is going to be $90, and that's probably accurate. Would be my guess, because this is going to be limited edition. Anything that's been limited edition at this point is basically like 800 or like $1,000, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox in the last few years. But yeah, the controller is probably the right price. But I wish too, like we could just, if we wanted to, we could just buy the shell. Like if you could just pay $150 for some pieces of plastic, talk about profitable, right? That'd be very, very profitable. And I wish that was kind of an option. Still have the option to just buy the console if you wish, but like if you already have a console and you want to swap it out, that'd be kind of nice to actually have that. But again, the companies don't do that. They want to do what's best for them, not what's best for the customer in most cases. So that's kind of frustrating, but it is kind of cool. Like it does look good for some OGs. It's probably going to be awesome, but I don't know. It's green. It's cool for what it is, but to buy a whole new console, no thanks. It's too much money. One game that surprised me was Magician's Devil's Deal. This actually kind of looked like a BioShock Dishonored type of style of game, and the art style too. And this one actually kind of looked interesting. And I was surprised too that this is also going to be on Game Pass. Also, next with a Microsoft Flight Simulator National Parks update. This is kind of shocking. I actually got to see the national park that's actually right next door, basically, to where I live. That was actually kind of cool. So I'm excited to actually kind of try that out and see some of those. And some of those national parks I've actually been to, um, and probably about three or four of them. But yeah, that's actually really cool to see that for the 250-year anniversary of the United States. I was surprised that Where the Winds Meet is coming to Xbox. This for a couple of years when we first got to see it with also some gameplay a little bit later into the next year. That this was just going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive, and also on PC. That it was not coming to Xbox. Well, that's changed. So I'm very actually surprised to see that because it was never supposed to come, as far as I know. And we've seen quite a few games like that with PlayStation. The initial intention is not to come to Xbox, and well, they end up coming to Xbox anyway, almost in every single case. And now that Xbox Helix is going to be basically a PC console, we will see if those PC ports will come off. But yeah, and now that Xbox is starting to actually have console exclusives, well, PlayStation, excuse me, PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6 doesn't have a way, at least as far as we know, to actually access PC storefronts. So if there isn't a port made, it's not coming to PlayStation. And again, I think that's frustrating. Again, I think the game should be for the players, but just the shifting of the cards, if you will, with how things are playing out is just not necessarily in PlayStation's favor. Also, we got to see that Persona 6 is going to be on Game Pass day one. I was kind of surprised by that because, again, it's going to be a bigger game. Many people are going to be excited for it. Not just delayed, but actually day one. The biggest surprise for me was a game that I grew up with that actually really got me into the gaming in the first place. And this was the next and new Spyro game called Realm Beyond. I was actually very excited for this. It's going to be on all platforms, and it's also going to be on Game Pass spring 2027. And this is going to be Toys for Bob. Now, for those that don't know, Toys for Bob used to be under Xbox. They went independent, which I think was probably a good deal for them. They were a support studio for Call of Duty, but yeah, they're doing what they do best. They're making their own stuff, and I think that's great. So we'll kind of see what the gameplay is like. We'll kind of see if there's improvements and innovation there because it has been forever. I think since PlayStation 2 and 360. Maybe Xbox One and PlayStation 3 or 4. I don't know. It's been a very long time since we've actually had a Spyro game, and I am stoked. I am so actually stoked for this, and my kids are going to enjoy it too. They're gonna love it. Also, Clockwork's Revolution we saw is going to be 2027. We have a date now, and then this also is going to be a console exclusive, and is also going to be Game Pass day one. So we have another console exclusive. And the cadence of console exclusives, if we're getting two, maybe we can expect one or two kind of every year, kind of like what PlayStation is doing with their big kind of more tentpole or like big titles. Uh, but again, yeah, this is going to change and shift things, I think, in some of the minds of the player. For you personally listening, I would like to hear what you think. Does this change your mind? Does this shift things? Does this make Xbox look better if it has exclusives or not? Just share your opinions down below, and all of them are welcome. Lastly, we got to see COD 4, basically a look at DMZ. And I got to say, with COD 4, with an actual location and a possibility of a future war with the Koreas, I kind of hate to say it, but I actually am kind of a little bit excited and hopeful about the game because I want it to feel more grounded. I want it to feel, more. But again, it is Activision and it is Infinity Ward, and they have kind of lost me as a player, along with probably a lot of you. And it's been frustrating, but if they can deliver with a arcade shooter, fun gameplay, multiple modes, that would be great. But it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any form of zombies this time. That's usually a Treyarch thing, but we'll be getting DMZ back, and I wonder how it'll be different, if it'll be better, and I wonder how the campaign is going to be. I hope it's really good. We'll have to see. But this too is also not coming to Game Pass anymore. Call of Duty is now going to be a separate title, basically the only thing that Xbox publishes not being on the service. So that's going to be very interesting. So just overall, pretty good showcase. I think it was better than PlayStation's. There were some world premieres that we had, and even some of the world premieres and some of the partnerships, like the game is coming to Game Pass. There were so many of those. I think kind of the only one that really wasn't was Metro 2039, which that one also looks very good. But also, so many are just coming to Game Pass. I think it's cool. We're celebrating Xbox's 25th year anniversary. I just think you can't buy the plastic separately. That's kind of a bummer. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of surprised by the exclusivity. That's really kind of throwing me for a loop. I wouldn't think they would do that, but I don't know. Do they want to cut out 90 million potential customers? We'll see how that works. And I mean, exclusivity has kind of not been working in the past, both for Xbox and for PlayStation. And I don't know. Yeah, we'll just see. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts about the whole thing and the showcase. I am excited definitely for some of these games. I do think it was a pretty good showcase. Didn't feel like it was wasted time. It was a little longer than maybe what we are used to. But yeah, what do you think about these games? What are you excited for? How would you compare it with PlayStation? I have not seen Summer Game Fest yet. That's going to be tonight. And then I'll share my thoughts with that. But lots of games. Lots of games look good. There's pretty good variety with what I'm seeing so far. And yeah, we're kind of hitting like a new stride with gaming, I feel like. Um, and there's so many to play. It's going to be difficult and it's expensive for sure. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I'll see you guys on the next one.